This presentation investigates the different layers of memory that people hold about Heavy Tree Gap and how this affects people's identity. As the map shows, Heavy Tree Gap is a break in the MacDonald Ranges that allows both road and rail traffic into the township of Alice Springs. Primarily, we will look at my own personal memories and then Aboriginal and colonial memories. Secondly, we will analyse what type of memories these are, and thirdly, how they relate to identity. The gap formed part of my everyday experience for 15 years by passing through it daily and living next to it. However, it also formed part of the distinct, superior, specialised and structured activities that Lefebvre talks of that are significant when forming memories. This has resulted in an emotional sense of belonging and ownership of Heavy Tree Gap and the surrounding MacDonald Ranges, with an overriding yearning to be there. Heavy Tree Gap was the traditional fallback water, hence it became one of the most significant sacred sites in Alice Springs and registered with the Northern Territory authorities. The most common story for Heavy Tree Gap is part of the caterpillar dreaming. It tells the story of how the caterpillar of the white-lined hawk moth formed the ranges, but the green beetle attacked the moth and ate its head, hence forming Heavy Tree Gap. This particular story relates to the conduct between these two species that we can see on this slide, and hence their presence at Heavy Tree, outlining a guide for the responsibility of the people to care for this relationship. Other stories tell of relationships between people, animals, landforms and the ancestors, as well as providing a guide for behaviours, responsibilities, punishment and law in the present and the future. As can be seen in Figure 7, these stories feed into the very essence of Aboriginal culture. The police station was moved to the Gap in 1886 until its closure in 1909. Subsequently, the station was used as a distribution point for rations to the Aboriginals, but then degenerated into a ruin which was restored in 1971. It is recognised on several registers as national heritage due to its representation of life experienced by the first police in the territory and its association with European settlement in Central Australia. Its heritage is also recognised by the resources spent on renovations and maintenance. However, the Plan of Management report from the Parks and Wildlife Commission states that visitors to the police station are discouraged because of litter and antisocial behaviour due to the proximity of a town camp. According to Hunt and Holbrook, collective memory can only refer to the most recent past. Therefore, these personal, Aboriginal and colonial parties do not hold collective memory of Heavy Tree. My individual memories can be defined as restorative nostalgia that yearns for a return to the ranges with its characteristic universal values such as time shared with the family, the breathtaking nature and the feeling of belonging. The term oral history is frequently used when discussing Aboriginal stories. Hunt defines oral history as lingering between collective memory and academic history in its ability to understand the past. Although, as has already been discussed, the present and future relevance of these oral histories is just as important. Colonial heritage is history, defined by its systematic study by academics and no person holding memories of its events. In recent times, there has been a plethora of philosophers that have contemplated the link of identity and place, and hence we can accept that place and identity have a symbiotic relationship. Heavy Tree has been experienced by many people and has in turn been affected by these people. The Gap's importance in my life is unmistakable. It can be said that through my interaction with Heavy Tree Gap and the ranges, my feelings of connectedness to nature and the world have shaped my identity. Furthermore, we have discussed that in Aboriginal culture, place and identity have more than a symbiotic relationship, but are in fact fused. Conversely, colonial identity at Heavy Tree Gap has been put into a holding pattern where it has been preserved, but few are experiencing it and most are discouraged to do so. This concludes the presentation on memory and identity. Thank you for your time.